Welcome back to my series where we're trying to get our first house ready to become a rental property. We've had 2 months so far and we've already made 2 mortgage payments with no rent coming in yet, and I'm definitely ready and feeling the pressure to get tenants in ASAP. Hey friends, welcome back to Pennies Not Perfection, where we talk about personal finance in a practical way without requiring perfection. So in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly how much we've spent so far on repairs, cleaning, supplies, and more to turn our house into a rental. We have a lot that we've spent so far, so buckle up. Repair costs so far is our main expense, and that was because we had a few projects that needed to be finished. Number one was our laundry room. That was the bigger project that we knew was going to cost a lot of money. We had our washer flood the laundry room and we did not finish it, and we just lived with it for a couple years basically. And then we did tear out all of the walls and stuff that needed to come out. But no one in my family wanted to do the drywall, so we had to pay for that and painting. So we did spend $1,500 to finish out our laundry room, and that was definitely more expensive than I had kind of planned for anything getting this house ready, but it did need it, and no one in our family wanted to DIY it, so we did pay for that, and we needed to close it off, finish it up, and make it functional. And then we did pay for cleaning and cleaning supplies and getting the house ready, so we paid $350 for that. We hired a professional cleaner for a deep clean since the property had been vacant for a couple weeks or months, so it was totally worth it for that. I am not the best cleaner, so paying for cleaning is definitely something that I plan to do every time the property turns over. Then we did have a few Home Depot runs, like a few. We've been multiple times for just little things like light switch plates, outlet covers, all those kind of things, and then paint and paint supplies. So our first trip was $38.39 for painting supplies because we did need to repaint a few rooms. Funny enough, we had decided we weren't moving out of this house, so we had actually repainted several rooms just in colors I liked. And then when we decided to move and rent it out, we had to finish all the painting for the rooms that we didn't do. Trip number 2 to Home Depot, we spent $108.79 for small repair items. And then trip number 3 to Home Depot, yeah, these are the ones that I have receipts for that I remember. And I don't think there were any outside of this, but my husband did go sometime, so I'm gonna have to double check. But trip number 3 was $203.45. And that was the we forgot some things trip, and we just had a bunch of random things, and my son got a Home Depot orange bucket, which he loves. And honestly, we used the bucket to keep all of the supplies in, so it worked out for everybody. Altogether, we're $2,200 in repair related expenses so far, and we haven't even tackled some expenses like buying a new fridge. We do have to get a new appliance for the kitchen, and that is going to add another $500, $700 probably to what we are spending. So we'll be around $3,000 in all of the things to get the house ready. And it all adds up really fast, even with us doing a lot of the work. My husband has been amazing and done so much work, and I've done some painting, and my father-in-law has done a lot as well. And even with us doing all of this work, it still kind of adds up quickly. With all of these expenses piling up, I knew I needed a simple way to track everything and make sure that I had all the receipts and everything was being applied correctly, so that come tax time, things are going to be legit and I won't be behind. And that's where Baselane comes in. Baselane is an all-in-one banking platform built for real estate investors and landlords. Even if you're just starting out like me, it works for you. I'm using it to track every single repair expense this time on this property. So whether it's a contractor payment like for my drywall or a Home Depot run that my husband made, I'm tracking all of it inside Baselane. Inside Baselane, I can tag each transaction by category like repairs and maintenance and assign it to a specific property. For me, I only have one, obviously, but if we decide to expand or if you have multiple properties, you can tag it to each specific rental. Baselane makes it super simple to track all of your real estate property expenses. So instead, you don't have to dig through receipts you shoved in a box from a year ago, and instead you can have everything starting strong, organized, and categorized inside of Baselane. And the best part is that it's 100% free to use. So whether you're managing one rental like me or just planning to scale up and have multiple rentals, Baselane can help you stay organized with your repair expenses and be prepared from the start. Check out the link in the description box to try Baselane for free and make your rental property bookkeeping a lot less stressful. So now let's talk about all of the other expenses, because we do have other expenses like the mortgage and holding costs for this property. On top of the repairs, we're still covering the mortgage and utilities while the house is vacant. We are paying for both of those expenses, and let's talk about that part because it really hurts. The mortgage is obviously the biggest cost of holding this property, and it recently went up, so now we are paying an even higher mortgage for the property, and we haven't listed the property yet. So I've made 2 mortgage payments, each one totaling $1,501. So that's $3,002 out of pocket just to hold the property while it's empty, waiting to have a renter. The utilities for the property while it was vacant in May was $166.30. This bill is due toward the end of June, and then we will have another one that's due in July. The costs with the mortgage and utilities so far are $3,168.30. These are the expenses that could pile up if you are having the property sit vacant while you're getting it ready. If it happens for a long time, obviously this can add up and be a really large number. So we are getting really close and we've made a lot of progress, and there's still a few things that are left on the list before we can get this place rented out. Right now we have to replace the fridge with a new one because there is no fridge in the house. And then we do need to touch up the paint in the living room. I have started doing some touch-up paint. I have touched up all of the doors and other rooms, and then we just need to do the living room. And then we need to replace an air vent, which my husband will be doing. And then we do need to take listing photos. And we do have a potential renter that may see it before we do a listing, and that would be great, but we still are going to do all of those things on the list, and that will take a little bit more time and money. We're aiming to show the house in the next couple weeks and then also list it if that first showing does not work out. Obviously, we want to get someone in as quickly as we can that is going to be a good renter. But as with everything in real estate, I'm finding out it depends on how quickly we can knock out the last few things, and everything takes longer than expected. This is obviously our first time turning a house into a rental, and we've learned a lot already, even though we have made quite a few mistakes. Our biggest lessons so far are to always budget extra for repairs. You'll definitely need it. Things do cost more than you expect, and there's things that you forgot or didn't realize or just didn't know about. And then track your spending from the beginning. That's essential, and I'm so glad that we set up Baselane before the money started flying out the door and money started coming in. So that way we're organized and ready for when my accountant needs my tax information for next year. And the final lesson that we've learned is that it takes more time than you think. Even simple repairs get delayed, or the contractor can't come for a day or two or a week, or you are busy with other things, and if you have a job, there's a lot of things going on, and when you're juggling this all with work and family, it can take a lot longer than you expect. I can see how people learn from their mistakes on their first rental and then decide to add more because you have systems in place and understand what you're doing, and then you can scale up. I get it now, but it is a lot of growing pains in the beginning. If you've ever turned your home into a rental, I'd love to hear from you and hear how much you have spent to get that up and ready. I know not everyone has to do things like finish off a room, but there are always different repairs and expenses for every home, no matter what it is. I'm happy to share what we're learning along the way as we start this rental property business and figure out what we like and don't like about being landlords. So definitely subscribe to Pennies Not Perfection to follow along with this journey and see how we do. If you're interested in using Baselane for your own rental property, I will leave a link in the description for that. Definitely check them out, and I'll see you in the next video.